Okay, you all, I'm going to try singing this shirt, see how the tune matches the words, just for a little bit of fun. I mean, you can judge me if you want, but I'm just going to have some fun with it here. All right, here we go. On the 12th. On the 12th day of Christmas, my Kentucky Wildcat gave to me 12 chickens frying, 11 basketballs bouncing, 10 hot browns baking, 9 banjos picking, 8 bourbons pouring, 7 horses racing, 6 lakes a fishing, 5 thoroughbreds, 4 coal mines, 3 mint juleps, 2 bluegrass songs, and a state that's my old Kentucky home. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. I'm so glad you're here for another day of Vlogmas. Today Charlie has decided to join us. He's woken up from his nap. He came in here, decided to poke around a little, check out the gnome fence. Let's see how many gnomes are left at the conclusion of today's video. We'll find out. Charlie, no. Charlie, no. Charlie. Oh! Wind down. Let's see what we have in store for today's tea. Green tea with apple. I have no idea what to expect. And let's see the saying. Love the little things. This kind of reminds me of, the inside of Dove chocolate when you get a little saying to read. Oh yeah, are you interested? As you would imagine, a nice floral scent. Okay, let's get it into steep. Excuse me. Let's get this started. I know, Charlie, I know you're excited, but you can't taste it. Sorry about that. Okay, I wanted to show you something I've picked up at one of my local stores here. It is a long sleeve t-shirt. Wait, no. Yep. It is a long sleeve t-shirt here. And Charlie, and on the front, like over the front pocket area, even though there's not a pocket, but you know what I mean. It says here, Merry Christmas, y'all, and it's a little picture there of Kentucky. And then when you turn it over, it has the 12 days of Christmas in Kentucky. I thought I would read these off to you, and then today just kind of give you a story time, since I'm originally from Kentucky, and tell you about how I relate to some of these things on this shirt here. I'm originally from Kentucky. I don't live there now, but definitely I'm a Kentucky girl at heart. 12 chickens frying. As you know, Kentucky Fried Chicken is a global brand now. It was started in a little small restaurant in Corbin, Kentucky. Of course, infamously created by Colonel Sanders. I thought I would let you know that Colonel Sanders and I have something in common. So if you want to take a guess as to what that might be, you could put it in the comments, and I'll reveal the answer later in another upcoming Vlogmas episode. There's no prize for the winner, by the way, just good fun. 11 basketballs bouncing. So in Kentucky, basketball is the premier sport. I used to play basketball when I was a kid. I started in fourth grade all the way up through 8th grade, not only on the school teams, but also in the community recreational teams. My dad and all of his brothers also played basketball as they were growing up in school. I was an okay athlete, but the thing is understand how the coach would explain the plays. Like I could understand the difference between zone defense and man-on-man defense. I could understand the offensive plays and follow the directions and do exactly what the coach wanted me to do. So I was good at that, and also was really good at fundamentals. I would often be called on to demonstrate the fundamental layup with both hands, approaching with your right and also approaching with your left. Like I could get down the basics. But what I wasn't good at was being aggressive. Coach would start to really try to get us to learn the idea of blocking out. Block out against the people that weren't on our team to try to get the ball as it was in our general area. And I remember thinking this just doesn't feel right. Shouldn't luck determine who gets the ball after a rebound? Oh, you're lucky if the rebound comes your way. It should come to you. Instead of pushing people out of the way to go get it. It just didn't seem right with me to be so aggressive and to block out and feel people pushing on me just to try to get the rebound. I'm like, hey, it's coming my way. It should be my ball. So I didn't want to push on people, and I didn't want them pushing on me. So nope, I was done. 10 hot browns baking. Do you know what a hot brown is? A Kentucky hot brown? It is a hot sandwich, more or less, that you actually eat on a plate with a fork. And it's made with turkey and bacon and a sauce that covers all of those things. Invented in a historic hotel in Louisville, the Brown Hotel in Louisville. And when I learned about like why it's named the Hot Brown, I was like, oh yeah, the Brown Hotel. Like I've been there before, because when I was in high school choir, our choir director one day a year before the holidays would take our choir to Louisville and have us sing at different historic locations. That was a really big deal for us to get to go to those like fancy places we normally wouldn't go to. And I'd be like, oh, the Brown. Oh, the Brown. Like I've been there before. I gave a concert there, you know, so I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, and by the way, when I became a choral director in the Louisville area, I also did the same for my students. I arranged those performance opportunities so that they could also go perform there as well. What else I might have to say about some of the things here? The 8 bourbons pouring, like that sounds delicious to me. Bourbon is definitely my drink of choice. 7 horses racing. So, you know, Kentucky is famous for the Kentucky Derby, which happens there in Louisville at the Churchill Downs. What's interesting is that, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of us that lived in the Louisville area, we would just stay as far away as possible from anything related to Louisville on Derby Day, because it was a hot mess. Like tons of, you know, out-of-towners would be there, and it was just really, really congested and crowded and traffic and all that. So you just stay out of town on that day. However, the day before the Derby is the Oaks Day, and that's kind of known as like the locals' day at Churchill Downs. And so much so that, you know, I was a student and a teacher there in that area, that on our school calendar, we would always have a professional day or something with a reason to not have school on the day before Derby, because, you know, historically attendance would always be so low, whether it be teachers or administrators, or they couldn't find enough subs, or, you know, the older students would be skipping, you know, to go into the infield or whatever the case may be. Like we always had the day off before Derby. So that's just like a local cultural thing for us, and it was our day. And then related to the horses, the 5 thoroughbreds. So when I drive home now, I live in Ohio now. So when I go home to visit, my parents don't live in the Louisville area anymore, but we still go down into the heartland of Kentucky. And instead of staying on the main roads, I do make it a point to at least have about 10 miles of driving through the horse country. And I find it beautiful, but I also want my boys to experience what the middle and the central of Kentucky looks like. So we get on the Kentucky Scenic Byway, and we are on small 2-lane roads that are, you know, surrounded by these thoroughbred farms in the general Lexington area. And it is so beautiful. We kind of like are on the lookout to see where the horses are, and sometimes they're off far in a distance, but sometimes they'll be right up at the fence, right very close to the road. Whatever the case may be, it's very majestic to see these animals out in the fields. So I love it. I really do love seeing them. Here we are. We're at the 4 coal mines. Kentucky used to have a big coal mining industry. Do you know the Loretta Lynn song, I Was Born a Coal Miner's Daughter? Well, actually, my mom was the same. Her dad was working in the coal mines when she was born. So she was also born a coal miner's daughter. 3 mint juleps. Of course, the mint julep is the official drink of the Kentucky Derby. And I'd say 3 is probably the perfect number. 2 bluegrass songs. If you're from Kentucky, it doesn't mean automatically that you love bluegrass music. You know, it's a very special, stylized kind of music. But as I've gotten older, I've appreciated it more and more and more. And I know that in my grandmother's generation, that all of her brothers and sisters, and they used to just gather around and sing mountain music, basically. And I wish that I'd heard more of it as I was growing up. And a state that is my old Kentucky home. So in Bardstown, Kentucky, there is a historic mansion of its day anyway, that we now refer to as my old Kentucky home. It is an actual place in Kentucky that you can go visit. One of my former students actually got married there at the estate of my old Kentucky home. And when she invited us to go, I was so excited because my boys had just turned 1 and we left them with my parents. And my husband and I went out for pretty much our first date since the boys have been born. And we got all gussied up and went and drove about an hour and a half away for this wedding. What I didn't realize was that the wedding was going to be outside on the grounds. And it was beautiful. It was a November 1st wedding, and the fall colors were beautiful and everywhere. But it was so, so cold. It was like the coldest November 1st that we had had in years and years and years and years. So I was so happy, but I was so cold sitting there watching that wedding. Luckily, the reception was inside, and a great time was had by all right there at my old Kentucky home. I hope that was fun, hearing a little bit of some Kentucky stories. I'll be wearing that shirt later in Vlogmas, so I'll reference back to this video where I explain some of the stories related to that. All right, let's check on this tea. It smells pleasant, it smells fruity. Nice, with a bite to it, a good bite, like a, oh, I don't have words. Like, people with words for food and flavors I am realizing, very special people. I don't have that many adjectives built up and prepared for this. All I know is that there is just something that, I mean, I know it's like green apple, so there's going to be something like pungent that kind of surprises you. And that is for sure the experience when I drink this tea. You expect it to be mild at first, but then there's like a little bite to it, like right at the end of that taste. So I really think this is fun. I'm having a lot of fun trying these teas. My bag of the day is the MZ Wallace Bailey bag. This is one of their older styles. It's in the Bedford nylon, and it's well known because of the pleating that they used to decorate their bags back then. And one of the other features besides the pleating that I enjoy are these long zipper pulls that kind of flare out and curl and like have their own like attitude, basically. And so as you can see, this bag comes with a top handle. It is removable, so you can take that off if you don't want to use it. And it comes with a removable and adjustable long strap here for crossbody or shoulder use. Just to give you a size comparison here, I've got my Coach Cassie and the Bailey, so you can see that they're roughly about the same size and kind of have this like rectangular shape to them. So that's all for today's video. Thanks so much for joining and listening to the stories about the 12 days of a Kentucky Christmas. And if you have any ideas about what I have in common with Colonel Sanders, then leave it in the comments below, and we will have the reveal in an upcoming Vlogmas. So make sure that you're subscribed so that you can see that in the future. Well, I mean, it may not be that dramatic, but it might be a little bit entertaining. So more tea tastings to come, and hopefully some more appearances by Charlie. So thanks so much for joining, and I will see you next time. You take care.